even the double main event tonight wasn't close to the coolest thing we saw on NXT. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your NXT review for October 17th, 2018. I'm going to get the house cleaning out of the way as we always do. Check out my playlists. I got NXT, I got NXT UK now. I got Mae Young Classic, I got 205 Live, I got the Q&A. Join in that if you want. I got the Off the Cuff series, etc. I've also got a couple updates that I've put for people locally in my neck of the woods. The Destiny pay-per-view known as Fearless just announced their main event. If you go back 2 vids, talk about that. Interim champion Josh Alexander just found out who his 2 contenders are. Let's talk about that. I've got opinions on both of those guys, but it is what it is. Looking forward to that. Got my front row tickets. It's going to be good. Just finished doing my NXT UK inaugural review. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. It's a really good vibe on that show they've got there. Not so much that regular NXT gets put by the wayside. That's not the case. It's just we are in the middle of a marathon, are we not? NXT UK, 205 Live, NXT Proper, and Mae Young Classic are all jammed into Wednesday nights. I mean, you guys know I gave up on reviewing 205 Live, but for the next few weeks it's going to be a little bit of a marathon for me, isn't it? Considering, unlike most people in this community, I have an actual job. Looking at you, JD. Moving on, started off with a video package for tonight's double main event, Undisputed Era versus the War Raiders for the Tag Team Championships, and the rematch of Nikki Cross versus Bianca Belair. One's for a title, one doesn't need a title. What else can I really say? War Raiders versus Undisputed Era was the first match of the night. There wasn't any bullshit, any talking segments, anything like that. Went right into this. Strong, O'Reilly came out by themselves, or so we thought, taking on the War Raiders. The crowd at Full Sail are really, really into the War Raiders, aren't they? Their theme is great. They got the look. One of them's got a mask with hair in it. Don't know how I feel about that. It makes me think of when Kane unmasked for the first time and the hair came with it, and it wasn't a great visual. But I like these guys. These guys are, I've been saying it more and more recently when you talk about guys like Lars Sullivan, when you talk about the Coffey brothers on NXT UK, when I talk about Killian Dane over on SmackDown when they remember that they have sanity. Not so much with Cassius Ohno, but War Raiders, for the size of the guys that they are, they should not be able to move the way that they do. Strong and Rowe started us off with a collar and elbow tie, gut shot by Strong, double team by the Undisputed Era in the corner, double clothesline by Rowe, tossed by Hanson, kicks and a choke by O'Reilly, double clothesline by Hanson, front slam by Rowe, shoulder tackle by Rowe, and a high knee by O'Reilly. Rowe, this is great. Rowe slams Hanson, his own partner, onto O'Reilly, and then Rowe and Hanson throw Strong into O'Reilly, using his own partner as a battering ram, which is also great. Forearms by Rowe, chop block by Strong, boots by O'Reilly, and more forearms by O'Reilly. Backbreaker by Strong, who starts working over the leg. The leg of Rowe becomes the story for quite a little bit of time. Series of kicks by O'Reilly, and a high knee and a trip. Mounted punches by Strong. Corner double team by Undisputed Era. Ankle lock by O'Reilly, working the leg once again. Dragon screw, working the leg. Knee bar, working the leg. Forearms by Rowe. Chop block by O'Reilly, working the leg once again. Backdrop by Hanson, crossbody and a boot. A backdrop by Hanson is fucking ridiculous. It's like falling off a skyscraper, as Jerry Lawler used to say. Bronco Buster by Hanson is perverse as well as terrifying. Backpack Sleeper by O'Reilly looks like a legitimate backpack. Forearms and a backbreaker and a sit-out powerbomb by Rowe. Springboard Lariat by Hanson. Biggest dude in the match should not be springboarding off the top rope for a lariat. But then Adam Cole runs in. He tries to get involved. And I say try because they literally catch his punch in their hands. And he gets chucked out Oh, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to steal a phrase from Adam Cleary. He gets chucked out of the ring like an empty tracksuit. Oh, yes. High knee and an angle slam by Strong, slam and a headbutt by Rowan, and knee bar by O'Reilly, working the leg. Once again, it's good. Boot by O'Reilly, power slam by Hansen, suicide dive by Hansen. It's not any more right for Hansen to do a suicide dive than it is for Killian Dane, is it? But it is impressive. Top rope leg drop by the War Raiders is as impactful as it ever is. And then we get a vicious, vicious chair attack by the returning 100% Bobby Fish. There's a 4-on-2 beatdown for a while. And finally, 4 men strong, we see Undisputed Era standing tall. Might have been by disqualification, but they managed to hold on to those belts. And seeing the 4 guys in the ring, and I know we're not here to talk about Raw or SmackDown. We're not here to talk about the SmackDown 1000 that I could take or leave, honestly. But seeing these 4 guys in the ring together and knowing, obviously, that Bobby Fish is back and made his return, whatever, how good would it have been to see these 4 on SmackDown come out and stare down Evolution? How cool would that have been? I mean, let's be real, it's main roster, they probably would have fucked it up, but it would have been cool nonetheless. Shayna Baszler versus Britt Baker. Now, here's where people got to help me out once again. I believe Britt Baker was part of that 4-way at All In that I glanced at begrudgingly. But also, I believe, isn't she married to Adam Cole, baby? So, are we going to have a situation where she comes to the ring and they start announcing Britt Baker, baby? I really hope not, because that's just not a thing. Anyways, she's being fed to Shayna Baszler because Shayna Baszler's got the pay-per-view at Evolution. Now, I gotta take a little side note here for a second. Now, people are claiming, and sort of rightfully so, I guess, people are claiming that Evolution as a pay-per-view isn't getting equal, what's the word I'm looking for? Isn't getting equal time as far as being advertised. Now, on Raw and SmackDown, I guess you could say that so. We had a lot of women's matches on Raw, and we had some pretty decent female representation, shall we say, on SmackDown, considering that their women's title match is the best thing happening on that show. All due apologies to AJ Styles and Daniel Bryan, which hasn't really started yet. Evolution is the only pay-per-view that is being advertised on Raw, SmackDown, the Mae Young Classic, NXT, and I predict by next week will be advertised on NXT UK as well. I'm not going to get into this big guys versus girls thing. I'm definitely not going to get into the political minefield that is the Saudi Arabia show right now. But I will say Evolution is getting more exposure and more advertising than you may think. So please, if you value my opinion at all, which I hope you do considering you're watching my video, please give that a second thought if you're thinking that Evolution isn't getting the time it deserves, because I personally believe it is. Anyways, Shayna Baszler basically ate up Britt Baker and did the arm stomp thing that she did to Dakota Kai after already working on her arm for about 30 seconds. You know, ref stoppage. She still comes after the match is stopped, hits her up with a... Not something I was expecting. And we're back, guys. Sorry about that. I think the last thing I said before my camera died was the step-up bicycle kick by Shayna Baszler. Now, this didn't give us any opportunity whatsoever to see what Britt Baker can do, because she just got in there to, like I said, be eaten up by Shayna Baszler. But what we also had was another match where I didn't quite know what to expect, was Lorcan and Birch, who are just coming back because Lorcan had like a face thing going on there, and they were taking on a team that I'm not familiar with at all. Lorcan and Birch are in the ring, and what comes up on the Titantron next is Bing and Rocky. So what's that supposed to be? It's Tian Bing, which is the signing from, I believe, China, that was played up about a year ago as the very first one from that particular area. Who Rocky is, I have no idea. Maybe he was signing number 2, which makes him not as important. But it wasn't a squash, per se. Lorcan and Bing start the match as a collar and elbow tie, and some chops by Bing, shoulder block by Bing, who was a pretty big dude, to be fair, armbar, and chops to both men by Lorcan, full Nelson by Rocky, and he locks in the full Nelson like ragdoll style. I almost wanted to make a Chris Masters joke. but it wasn't quite that bad, and it wasn't quite that long, and it wasn't quite that played out, which is fine. Lariat by Lorcan, corner clotheslines by Birch, and a step up enziguri and a dropkick. Headbutt by Bing, but a double team elevated DDT by Lorcan and Birch gets the win. Nice, short, sweet, to the point. Didn't make the other two look like jobbers. Everybody wins. William Regal has an announcement about WarGames next week. I wonder what it could be. Basically, this was NXT asking you to talk about WarGames on Twitter. They literally said, please tweet the hashtag, WWE, NXT, etc. The Lorcan and Birch thing was good. Their elevated DDT double team finisher, I like it because it's awesome in its simplicity, and I like these guys as a team. When the UK brand started, I really was worried because I thought they were going to take Birch and put him over on the NXT UK brand. And they'd be lucky to have him because he's somebody that's been in NXT long enough that we all have some familiarity with him, and that will carry over. But what would that do to this team? They still get the 1-2 chant when they come to the ring because one of them puts up a one-finger salute, one of them puts up a two-finger salute. I think I saw a shot of them from a house show a couple weeks ago where whoever their third person was in a six-man tag just put up a 3 for the hell of it, which is good. I mean, it's a gimmick out of nothing that they could just let be nothing, or they could let it be something. They could have some fun with it, whatever. You know what's really fun? Nikki Cross versus Bianca Belair. Nikki Cross is my girl. Bianca Belair is great in the ring and has a shitty gimmick. I don't have to replay those thought processes again, but what I do need to say one more time is that I love Nikki Cross's music. I have to say it because it's still fucking true. Low-key, her music, her remix of the Sanity theme is better than the original. Low-key, her theme is one of my favorite NXT themes overall. And I'm including guys that have come and gone like Finn Balor, guys like Shinsuke Nakamura. I love Nikki Cross's theme. It fits so well with the fact that she's so deeply dropped into her own character. It's just really, really great. Crossbody to start the match, and with a mounted choke, Cross eats an apron face first on the outside as they brawl, tosses Belair into the steps. You want to throw me into the apron, I'll throw you into the steps. It's all good. Monkey flip by Cross. Forearm to take a... Somebody called me racist on Twitter because I said monkey flip, which has been a wrestling move forever. Just putting that one out there. Do with that what you will. Follow-away slam by Belair and a neck vice. Head scissor by Cross. Forearms and a roll-up attempt. Shoulder tackle by Belair. Inverted mudhole stomp by Cross. Gets her in the what do you call it? The tree of woe, and just stomps on her chest. So many times it looked like she was going to miss her chest and kick her in the throat, which is not something I would wish on anybody, but it was really vicious to see within the context of the match. Corner splash and a running bulldog by Nikki Cross, who hits the Nikki Cross body, which is, I gotta say, even more fun to say than the Daniel Bryan silly kicks, especially because, R.I.P. Liv Morgan's face, but that's another story for another day. Forearm knockout by Belair, a spear and a powerbomb. Powerbombs, and basically every deadlift move that Bianca Belair does looks fantastic. There was a couple where she sort of stagger stepped a little bit, and some people said that made it look botchy. To me, I'm not going to lie, I'm going to give her a whole bunch of credit here. To have a stagger or to have a little bit of a struggle here and there with a move like that is okay. It makes it look more real. It makes it look more effective when you still manage to pull it off. So hats off to her for that. Series of slaps by Belair and a backpack sleeper by Cross. DDT by Cross, who gets out of the gorilla press position. Stupid fucking hair whip by Bianca Belair in capital letters, and a superplex by Nikki Cross. But after that moment, the match does not even matter anymore. The lights go out. The lights go out and we hear one single chord from the Aleister Black entrance, and everybody in the crowd loses their shit. The lights stay out for a couple of seconds. I'm not going to lie. You guys know that up here in Canada, the WWE Network isn't an internet thing. It's not something I watch on my computer or my tablet or my phone or my PS3 or my Xbox. It's an actual channel. I go to Rogers 512 and I watch my WWE. That it is what it is. Literally, right before this happened, like right after she hit the slam or whatever she just did, right before the lights went out, my cable went out. So I had to rewind the PVR and watch this bit again. It just made me laugh, the irony of that. But the lights go out. Aleister Black sitting, Indian style, in the center of the ring when the lights come back up. In the usual calm, collected Aleister Black way, sort of stoic, not happy, but not losing his shit either. You got Nikki Cross just barely at the edge of the ring, just sort of looking up at him in this weird sort of bizarre, psychotic, like, the look on her face is what the fans should be saying, like, oh shit, this should be good, except she's part of it, which makes it crazy. Belair is gone. I don't know where Belair went. I think she just realized that she was no longer important in this segment. But, Nikki Cross slowly crawling her way to Aleister Black, and eventually even the crowd starts shushing each other so that they could hear what Aleister Black has to say, and he just sort of does the come here with his hand, and as soon as she gets close enough, he says, "Tell me." Just once. He doesn't repeat it, he doesn't go nuts, he just says, "Tell me." And Nikki Cross gets up to him, goes and puts her head, like, to his ear to tell him something. The couple of the idiots in the crowd sounded like they've had a couple of beers. As soon as they got that close, they started hooting and hollering like these two were gonna fucking make out or something. You guys are idiots. But as she tells him whatever she tells him, he totally breaks the typical Aleister Black unshakable, stoic nature, and he just, like, silently becomes overwhelmed by this rage that just makes him shake and whatever, and he's losing it, like, internally as she sort of slinks out of the ring with a smirk on her face that, like, she looked like a pyro that had just lit a match, and obviously that's the sort of vibe that they were going for, but Nikki Cross does it so fucking well. I cannot say enough about Nikki Cross, about how she just drops whatever this was, because we didn't hear it obviously, whatever bomb she just dropped on Aleister Black that set him off, she's standing back to watch the fireworks go off, and that's how the show goes off the air. This is fucking brilliant. I'm not going to read spoilers. If anybody sends me spoilers, you will be blocked for life. I want to experience whatever the fuck this is in such a natural, I mean, it's NXT. Spoilers are there. 9 times out of 10, I got a rough idea of what's going to go on in the show. Not the details, but this is easily the best thing going on in NXT right now. And it's so fucking ironic because Aleister Black's title reign was so overshadowed by... it was so overshadowed by the Gargano-Ciampa feud that even though he was the champion, his matches were never the main event of takeovers. And now that he's lost the title, he's suddenly in the coolest story of the entire brand. It's really, really bizarre and weird, but I'm happy for him in a way because his title reign did get kind of shat on a little bit. Not that I'm one to be critical of NXT, but if I want to make a little nitpick, it is there. Next week we've got William Regal's announcement about WarGames. Gee, I wonder what it could be. Other than that, this was fucking fantastic. 2 decent matches. I don't even... And the way NXT puts things together, I am so happy with the way this show went. I'm totally fine with the fact that neither one of these double main events had an ending, had a significant, definitive winner. I mean, Undisputed Era, 4-on-2, beat the fuck out of War Raiders, so you know that'll continue. Gee, I wonder where. Bobby Fish is back, which is a nice little bonus part of that. I still say that the 4 of them should have stared down Evolution at SmackDown 1000, as much sense as that doesn't make, because they're on NXT and Evolution existed on Raw. Yeah, I could nitpick SmackDown 1000 as much as I want. Technically, we had to sort of maintain that Bianca Belair is undefeated. But she didn't matter at the end of the day, did she? Nikki Cross is amazing. Aleister Black and her, whatever the fuck they're about to do with those two, is going to be fantastic. I'm just rambling now because the show was fucking great. Anyways, I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I am tagging out. Bye, guys. I've been telling you guys for a little bit now, watch out on Fight TV for Destiny Wrestling's first ever pay-per-view, Fearless. I dropped a couple of the names that are going to be involved in the show last time I talked about it, but we now have the official main event announced. Now, A little bit of backstory. Up until very, very recently, WWE UK champion Pete Dunne was the Destiny World Champion. Now, due to injury, he couldn't come over from the UK to Mississauga to defend his title against Josh Alexander, Toronto boy, hometown boy, etc. So they needed to crown an interim Destiny World Champion, and it was fought between Josh Alexander, low key, and one of the local guys within the federation by the name of Aiden. Now, Josh Alexander got his hometown victory moment. He is the Destiny Wrestling interim world champion. He's going on to Fearless on Fight TV to face Rich Swann and Ray Phoenix. So if you weren't already going to check it out, you might want to check it out now. Tell them I sent you, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.